Hey, it's Kathy, and I'm back with another process video, and this one is for my 12 days of Scrappy Christmas, and it's also for the Just Nick cut file shop, a design team, and Nicole is doing her 14 days of giveaways. I'm on day 7, and by the time this video goes out, my day may already be gone because you can only use the code that day, but if you're seeing this in time, the code is JOYFREE2. When you're going through with this cut file, and you'll get it for free. Now it's 14 days, so I'm on day 7, so there's still another 7 days, and every day there's going to be a different one and a different layout or project or whatever from the design team inspired using the cut file and then something inspirational using it. So for now, you'll be able to get the cut file after today anyway. It's just that it does go back to regular price, which is still really cheap anyway. So this one is gorgeous. I'm so glad that I got to work with it. I just love cut files that are a whole bunch of different words together, whether it's different words or the same word but different fonts, whatever it is. I really love them. And so this is the first time I've ever used this feature, but I brought the cut file into the Silhouette Studio, and then I clicked offset, and it made an outline, and I could pick the size of my outline, and I chose a really big outline, and in retrospect I don't think I even needed to pick this big of a outline, but I wanted to really showcase the pink paisley turn the page floral paper that I had picked for backing it. And as you could, from the very beginning when you saw, there was white on half of my Silhouette cut mat, and the paper was on the other half. So I was able to line up both pieces of the cut file in the same on the same like 12 by 12 area, and cut them both at the same time. And I did put some washi tape down just in case the glue gave way while it was cutting out, but it didn't, so that was great. So I managed to get my outline cut out and my regular inside joy cut out at the same time, and I kind of skipped over, so you guys didn't have to watch me put adhesive foam on the back of every single piece of the joy cut file, the white part, so that it would pop up from the background. Now of course there's very thin parts of this, so I did, yes, have to really cut some thin foam, but in the end it's worth it. Just as worth it as people doing hand stitching or whatever they're doing on their layouts. So it's just as fulfilling or rewarding to me as doing that. I really like what it adds. There's just that hint of a shadow. There's just something to it. I couldn't decide what paper to use. As you can see, when I cut this out, I had no clue how I wanted to do my layout. All I knew was that I wanted the cut file to look like, ow, my cat just tried to jump up on me and she dug her claws into my leg to do it. They are obsessed with jumping up on the table when I'm doing stuff at my desk, and they don't care how much they cut me doing it. Anyway, when I realized that between the picture and the picture of my daughter, see, so here's like the other thing. Let's just go off on a tangent. This picture of my daughter was taken at the end of January. So even though it says joy, and it's definitely got a Christmas vibe to it, I didn't use it for a Christmas layout. I used it just for a winter layout, and by using the pink paisley Paige Evans paper, I was bringing in other colors than just traditional Christmas winter colors. But I am going to mix it with the Crepe Paper Snow and Cocoa collection that was released last year and then re-released again this year, because the colors did match extremely well, and it was perfect, a perfect combination. So I just loved, like, to me, the word joy, it does seem really reminiscent of Christmas just because of Christmas carols and stuff like that. But I find it's a word that you can use any time of year, and the little stars are not so, like, if it was something like snowflakes in the joy, it would definitely date it to a certain seasonal time, but because it's just stars, it could be anything. It could be a birthday layout or anything that you're using it for. So once I printed it all out and I found this nice little area where the photo would fit in with the cut file, I realized that a straight across layout, like where it's going across the whole page, almost cutting it in half, would be definitely the right way to go. And so I kind of fiddled around with which papers I liked the best, and I knew I wanted to bring in some of the other colors that were in the Paige Evans paper, and by cutting the trees and using the bottom half of the paper, I was able to get that orange in and the yellow in and the fuchsia pink. And so it kind of helped bring in all those colors. And then I just love that plaid. So I thought it worked out perfectly. I could have used the one with the birds and the trees and it would have worked just as well. But there was just something about the trees on their own that I really liked. And I liked it sitting on the plaid. So my next idea is I really wanted to use that Creekside paper as well from 1-2 Canoe. It's teal, like a minty teal, and it's just beautiful. And I thought, well, I just want to use it as a border. And I didn't bother saving any of it. And that I think I have 2 pieces, so I didn't feel the need to hoard that paper. So I wanted to use it as a border. And then I also wanted to use this. It's not tinsel. This is actually yarn from Martha Stewart that I bought a little while ago. And I have used it on a previous layout a long time ago, and I don't think I've used it since. And it does look like tinsel, like it really does. And it's got gold in it as well. So it's a nice warm pink with gold flecks all through it. And it's very thin. And it is beautiful when it's knit, but that's not what I bought it for. Because I don't knit, because I tried and I failed miserably at knitting. I guess that's just not going to be one of my hobbies. Even though I really love it. So I have used it before, so I thought I'm going to use it again as a border for this. And then that's going to bring in that extra texture because, as you guys know, I just really like to bring in texture in kind of unusual ways, I guess. Now, I could glue it down, but I know what's going to happen if I glue it down. It's not going to go well. It's not going to flow as well because it's going to all get stuck. All the little tinsely bits are all going to get stuck in the glue. So I used my tiny attacher and stapled it down and made sure that there were staples right around the corners so that it didn't start to curve around the corners and it stayed straight. So obviously this is one of those layouts that when you put it in your page protector, it's going to look a little strange because some of the tinsel is going to bunch up, but I don't care. I love how it looked. I just like how it framed the whole layout, and I left enough there that you could tie a bow, though there's no need to tie a bow because it doesn't look like a bow. So I could have put something in that area, like a button or something to just kind of make it look a little bit more like it was a bow. And I may eventually go back and do that, or a brad or something like that, just because it does look like just a big ball of tinsel right now. So I wanted to back my picture. It doesn't have a white border because the background is so white and pale already. It didn't need a white border. It was blending out too much. So I felt I needed to do some photo backing. And I used a little bit of the Turn the Page collection just to bring in those colors again. I used that multiple colored floral paper, and I had already used it in a previous layout, so I was glad to get to use the rest of that 6x6 piece of paper. And then I'm going to use Snow and Cocoa 6x6 paper pad for the rest of the backing. I'm just using some colors that I haven't used in a long time or ever. I really don't use fuchsia pink at all, unless it's part of something else. So this was kind of, even just the little amounts of it that I used were a little odd, but I was happy about it. And my cat is going to jump up on me again, I can tell. If you hear crunching or anything like that, it's just her walking around trying to figure out how she can claw me the most. And if you hear purring, I apologize. I'm holding her now so that she doesn't jump up on me, but I have a theory she's going to jump all over my desk. So I am going to stick that all down, and everything's popped up with some form of foam, so everything's got dimension to it, and I'm really happy with it. And I'm not going to do a whole lot of embellishing, though it is going to take me a little while to figure out what it is I do want to do. And I had to stand up and look down at my layout just to see how it, if it was lined up straight enough. So I'm going to think that I want to use some of the Pink Paisley ephemera, and it's just kind of blending in, and then I realized it's just not really what I want to work with. So I'm going to use Snow and Cocoa chipboard and Snow and Cocoa ephemera and make an embellishment cluster in the bottom left like I'm doing right now. she just fell. And there's these 3 little birds that come on the chipboard for Snow and Cocoa, and I have been hoarding them, so I'm going to use them because they're just adorable and I thought they would work perfectly. I thought about bringing in that fox just because I wanted more of the orange, but I realized it's just not quite what I'm looking for. So there's the 3 little birds, and I thought I was going to line them up at the bottom, but I end up just kind of peeking them around through the Joy cut file. And I think that that kind of works the best for what I'm going for. And yeah, I keep struggling with how I want to do an embellishment cluster because, you know, I need it to look cohesive but haphazard all at the same time. And I still have trees from the chipboard for Snow and Cocoa. And I don't really like that they're in pots. Like, I don't mind it. It's just for this particular layout, I didn't like that they were sitting in pots. So I cut the pots off of them, and you don't really notice that they've been cut off. So not really a big issue. I like them kind of sitting together. I don't mind that there's a star on the top of that tree. It doesn't immediately make me think that it has to be Christmas. So I'm going to pick a few pieces that have colors that match. They don't necessarily have anything to do with the layout. She's not ice skating. She's not skiing or anything like that. We're just outside in the snow. So I do cover up a whole bunch of this. This is really unusual for me to take ephemera and not have you see what they say. But I liked them that way for this particular layout. I'm starting to try to use stuff in a way that, you know, I wouldn't normally, because I'd be so worried, like, oh no, you can't read every single thing that that piece of ephemera says. And then I realize it doesn't need to, because it's just adding to the overall design. So I'm going to pop it up with thin fun foam and tuck the trees in around. And I think the last, besides putting in Heidi Swap, the last thing I'm going to do is do the sweater weather stickers. There's gold metallic stickers, and I loved this one that says snow day, and then it was like happy. So I just loved the idea of like happy, you know, like happy joy kind of thing. But just like happy snow day. It's not really a snow day. She wasn't off school or anything because she didn't go to school at this point. But it was definitely one of those nice snowy days, and she was wearing this huge tulle bow in her hair, and like a pink one, and a pink coat with fur on it. So she just looked so sweet in this picture that I just had to make it all about joy, because she was just enjoying being outside. And that's a Fa La La snowflake from the Fa La La collection. And besides using some peach Heidi Swap Color Shine, that's it for this layout. Pictures are coming up. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video for my 12 Days of Scrappy Christmas. And don't forget to check out the Just Nick cut file shop and blog. So have an awesome day. Bye.